It's up to you as Nancy Drew.
Hello there everybody, my name is Arglefumf, and today I am playing Nancy Drew Mobile Mysteries Shadow Ranch. Time for the final chapter. Chapter 8, The Phantom Horse Rides. Nancy is going to capture that phantom horse. Nancy breaks into a run as the ranch doors slam. What? We are off to a fantastic start, everybody. Nancy breaks into a run as the ranch door behind her bangs open, not slams shut. The door bangs open and someone starts shouting, "It's back! The ghost horse is back!" So here's the sound of the door. I kind of like that background music. Let's hear it again. More doors bang open and soon the night is filled with excited cries. Amid the commotion, the phantom rears a second time, then spins around and races away. Dave is already on his horse by the time Nancy reaches the stalls. "Hurry!" he yells, his horse dancing wildly beneath him. Oh, his horse can dance. Pretty cool. Nancy swings up on her horse and quickly charges through the gate Dave is holding open. In an instant, they're galloping into the starlit desert in hot pursuit of the glowing ghost. Side by side, dodging brush and ducking branches, they tear through the darkness, slowly gaining on the phantom horse. But Dave suddenly raises his hand. "Nancy, slow up!" he commands, tugging on his reins. She reluctantly eases her horse down to a lope as he points to a dark gash in the landscape just ahead of them. "There's a real deep arroyo up there. Too dark to try jumping it." She gestures towards the receding glow. "But that horse got over it okay." "Too risky. Should be a way around it, up yonder." Sensing that Dave is being overly cautious because of her, Nancy stares at the arroyo in frustration. "We have a choice here. We can go around, or we can try to jump over like a superhero." "We can do it! Come on!" Determined, Nancy leans forward and kicks her horse back into a gallop. "Nancy, no!" Dave yells. "No!" As the chasm looms closer and closer, Nancy grabs a fistful of mane with her free hand and prepares herself for the jump. Her horse flings itself into the void. Nancy falls violently backwards, loses her balance, and tumbles into the ditch. "Nancy!" Dave jerks his horse to a stop, leaps from the saddle, and scrambles down into the arroyo. By the time he reaches her, Nancy is already on her feet and dusting herself off. "I'm all right," she assures him. "Is my horse okay?" "He made it over fine. Probably happy to be rid of you, making him do a fool thing like that." "I'm sorry, Dave. I really thought I could do it." Then she adds, "I figured you were just trying to protect me." "I was," he quietly admits. Then he pushes her hair away from the side of her face and scowls. "But I sure did a lousy job. You're all scratched up. No hiding what happened from Tex now." They climb back out of the arroyo and look around. The sky to the east is growing brighter. In the dim light, they see that Nancy's horse has turned around and is trotting back towards them. But the glowing horse has disappeared. Dave makes his way around the arroyo and retrieves Nancy's horse, and together they ride back to the ranch. The sun is well over the mountains, ascending into a flawless blue sky when they reach the corral gate. Tex is waiting for them. "You catch it?" he asks Dave accusingly. "Nope," the younger man grunts. Tex turns towards Nancy. His glare deepens when he sees the scratches. "Well, I wonder why," he growls. As Dave predicted, the foreman is furious. He forbids Nancy to ride for the rest of her stay and tells Dave the job of mucking the stalls and the corral is exclusively his for at least a month. Nancy finds herself wondering what might have happened if she'd listened to Dave that night and rode around the arroyo. Would they have caught up with the ghost horse? Would they have captured it and discovered an explanation for it? She tries hard to push these questions from her mind, because for Nancy Drew, there's nothing worse than leaving a mystery unsolved. Oh man, that was such a sad ending. Okay, well, you almost caught the ghost horse. Not really. But you let it slip away. What next, detective? I guess you could just try again. Lead the way, Nancy says. Dave turns his horse parallel to the arroyo and follows it for several hundred yards to a place shallow enough to cross. By the time they climb up the other side, the eerie glow is far in the distance. Still, they push their mounts back into a gallop, and they resume their pursuit. The horizon to the east grows steadily brighter as they follow the phantom through the desert. But the lighter it gets, the fainter it glows until finally it disappears. Guess the horse only glows in the dark. Dave slows his tired horse to a walk. We lost it, he sighs, deeply disappointed. Let's keep going, Nancy suggests. Maybe we can pick up its tracks. That's a good idea, just follow its tracks. After a while, as they approach the ridge towards which the phantom horse was headed, Nancy raises her hand. Do you hear that? Dave stops his horse. Together they hear the sound of a distant engine. Gradually fading away. What's a car doing way out here? Nancy puzzles. Don't know, Dave says, looking down, but I know what those are. He points to the fresh hoof prints on the ground in front of them. We got us some tracks. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that the sound of the car leaving was actually a car leaving. So, yeah. So we're not going to run into the person who's taking care of the phantom horse. That person just got in the car and took off, and they left the horse in the corral. So sunlight warms their way as they follow the tracks to the ridge. Descending the other side, they reach a small sandy road leading up to a small makeshift corral. So this is the corral. Like I said, the person who owns the corral just left. Inside is a chestnut brown horse grazing on hay. Its head jerks up as Dave and Nancy approach. Dave's horse whinnies in greeting. The chestnut whinnies back. Easy there, Dave says as he approaches the skittish horse. No one's gonna hurt ya. After a moment, the horse calms enough to allow Dave to approach. Something about this doesn't make sense, Nancy says, investigating the paddock. Dave nods in agreement. No food, no water, no shade? This is no way to keep a horse. I think someone left it here to throw us off their trail. Nancy scrambles to the top of the nearest hill, scanning the surrounding mesas. Nearby is a cliff face, featureless except for a single patch of dark. There! Nancy yells, taking off in a brisk run. Why are you always so hard to keep up with? Dave complains as he struggles to catch up with Nancy. Because you're wearing cowboy boots, Nancy calls down. Not the best when it comes to running. Wasn't much for running before you came along, Dave says as he catches up to where Nancy waits by the cliff face. That's what horses are for. Dave crouches over, his hands on his knees as he catches his breath. Nancy rummages through her bag and pulls out a small flashlight. She shines the beam into the cave and gasps. What? Dave asks, worried. You see something? I saw something move. Nancy breathes deep, steeling herself for what lies ahead. Now just wait, Dave says. You know, you don't need to be doing this now. We can solve our own problems here. I do appreciate your help, but who knows what could be in there?